What is the definition of success? So what are you striving to achieve and why? Let's just have a bit of a laugh with it and see where it goes. Be open-minded. Difficult conversations. Managers, owners, you just have to have. It's your job to have those conversations. If everything was easy, you won't have a job. You don't need a manager, do you? You know, you've got to, I suppose fundamentally, people that are managing it, they're managing situations, and therefore you've always got to have difficult conversations. And if you don't want to have difficult conversations, don't be responsible for people or teams. And the key, absolute key, is really think about what it is you want to say. Because no matter how good you are at being able to talk, you have to do it justice by thinking about it before. Because there's a danger if you say the wrong thing that the person goes away and feels bad, and they shouldn't, because the manager's not said the right thing. And I have fallen foul of this before. But like many things, I've learnt from it, and it happens far, far less now. And the other thing you've got to do, and I think we touched on this in a previous conversation that we've had, is make sure the time's right. So, you know, if the time is wrong, but the words are right, again, no good. It's not good. You know, I'm having a difficult conversation on a Friday afternoon before a bank holiday weekend. Not very good, just because I want to get it done. So it's think about the timing and think about the words and what you want to say. You know, you can't predict how it's going to go, but what you can do is prepare to start. And if the start goes well, it tends to go well. There is no more spineless trait than a manager that actually shirks a difficult conversation, and loads of people do. And that's one thing I would say I generally prided myself in doing, and that's mainly because it's your job to do that, to have those conversations. And you're doing it because you've got a responsibility, whether it be the job that you're doing, the business that you're working for, the other people who are not involved in the difficult conversation. Because if you renege on your responsibility, then whatever the problem is going to continue. And don't let that thing in your head convince you, because you're losing your bottle to have it. So have it, have the conversation, just make sure you're prepared in terms of what it is you want to say and when you want to say it. Because it's not about just getting it off that list of things to do, it's about doing it at the right time. Another nice, and it's just a really ace little tip to go in with, is just be prepared. Be prepared for the person to say something that you've missed. Don't go into that conversation thinking, right, okay, it's a negative conversation. Because if you say the right thing, you are actually giving somebody the opportunity to respond back and say something, and you never know, you might miss something. So I think if you have that sort of mindset going into it, then you're naturally in a little bit of a less aggro sort of state. You're almost going in there thinking, well, you know what, I've got something to say, I'm genuinely interested to know what the response is, and then we'll work out what we do after that. So, you know, having that and just always having that open mind is a really, really cute and clever thing to do. Just make sure at the end of it that you recap over it and just be clear about it. You know, whether you ask the person to actually just say, look, what have you taken from this conversation, or say it yourself. Probably the former, but just follow it up with some form of action, just to avoid confusion. It's amazing how many people assume that they've said a certain thing and that somebody's interpreted something in a certain way, and guess what? They didn't. They had a different message in their head. So avoid that, because it's so easy And again, I have fallen foul, and I can remember instances where I think, well, I said that, but then did actually, you know what, did I? You know, scenarios in big company where I was communicating to many people, and many people interpreted it in a slightly wrong way. And what does that say? It's you didn't get your message right. So I guess really what I'm saying there, it's all about really thinking about that message and then really just trying to get that understanding at the end of the conversation, and then just making sure you follow that up if it's needed, but follow it up with some form of plan of action. Let's just have a bit of a laugh with it and see where it goes. Be open-minded.